Hello, so I'm going to go through today the basics of how to make music without using music theory, or at least using the bare minimum of music theory and trying to get around it that way. So I'm just going to go through some very, very simple steps of how you can try and learn how to make music as an art rather than a theory or a science. So I have a little piano with me here. You will see me playing the notes. So I'll just keep that running so you can see what I'm doing. So the way I started making music, when I started making music many, many years ago, I didn't have a piano or a MIDI keyboard, or I still don't have a piano, I've only got a MIDI keyboard or anything like that. What I did was I had musical typing on my keyboard, which you can open up here, Command K, and I actually used my my keyboard, my typing keyboard to make music. And I did that for a very, very, very long time. With music, what I did was I pressed a lot of keys and I saw what I liked and didn't like and what sounded good and didn't sound good. So for example, if I went from here to here, I like the sound of some of that. So I would just press some keys. And I would go through and see what I liked. If I went back to my old school days, I would do this. And then what I'd do is I'd go back through and see what I liked. So I'll get rid of this one and we'll just go all the way back to not having any keyboard. So in this bit, if I just separate these four notes, I don't like this note, so let's move it up one and to here maybe. So maybe I can like that now, or maybe I don't like this next note. Let's move it down. So maybe I like that, but maybe I want something to add on to the end. So let's take the next note and see what happens there. Maybe put it there. And that's the other thing I do when I run into stuff like that, is I just quantize everything and make sure it goes to the start of the bar. So I've gone through quantization, how to use that. So we'll do that. Bring that to start, all these back. Now everything starts nice and easy. So I kind of like that. Maybe I can make that into my theme. Maybe I can start and develop that into the melody. What's the next note? I pressed that note halfway through playing it and I kind of like that. So let me add that in. So I like these two notes now as well. Let's do that. Let's just quantize all of this. So I don't like this note. I'm actually just going to get rid of this one. And I didn't like this note. Let's try moving it up. I like that. I think it needs to go down one more. So let's add a note. Let's see what happens here if I just go chromatically down. I don't like that. They're close together. So I like that. I want it to end on whatever note I started on, I think, which is the next note up. So I might just go up again. So that's fine. I've not got a problem with that at all. I've got some more notes there I'm just going to get rid of. Let's drop this down an octave. So that's just going to play the same note again, but lower. And see how that ends. Nice. Now I can look at how they're played. So this start one feels very on beat in time. So let's drag the first note out and have that sustained throughout. I like how these two sustain through, so I want to keep them. I'm going to have that sustained to there, and that one sustained to there. Sustain is just how long the note is played. This is not sustained. This is sustained. I don't know what those notes are. I don't know what any of this means. I don't know why some of it sounds better than the rest of it, how dissonance is created. I don't understand nor know how I've created what I've created. I'm not going to tell you whether it's a better idea to know whether you're doing what you're doing or what you aren't doing. Most of the time, a good 80 to 90% of the time when I'm writing my music, I haven't got the slightest idea in what I'm doing, especially when I start to do chromatic stuff. Like if I just play in a D, like that, in the D, that's not part of the D, that's more of a D minor. So I played that. I know that I was using a D major as my key. I pressed a lot of notes that weren't in a D major. I don't know why that still sounded okay to me. I'm more than positive, 100% positive, that there's a theoretical explanation as to why that chromatic stuff I did worked, because it'll have something to do with modulation and the keys and things like that. I don't know the answer to that, nor do I care, because I like the sound of it, and that's what I'm going to do. If someone said, well, actually, you shouldn't have played the A sharp, you should have played the A flat because it's an accidental in this, and I just say, sure, mate, I'm going to play what I like, because this sounds good to me, and who are you to tell me otherwise? This is an art, not a science. So obviously don't be that mean, but it is an art, not a science. So me liking the sound of this and someone telling me that it's not theoretically correct means nothing. Yes, they're right, so am I. Just because you're right doesn't make me wrong. In the terms of art, this is expressionism. So let's expand from here and see what else we can make. Let's have a quick listen again. I'm not looking at time signatures, I'm not looking at how many bars I'm using or beats or anything like that. I'm just looking at what it sounds and how long it is and if I like how long it is. So all I've done there is duplicated that by holding the, is it the Apple key or whatever it's called? Sorry, I've got a custom keyboard, so I don't know the ones. I'm just going to highlight both of them and press J to join, or you can right click and do it through here. So now they're both together. With MIDI, I like to make sure it doesn't overlap because sometimes that can cause a problem. And let's keep going. So now we've started again. When we start again, I want to mix things up. So let's have the start note go, let's have that go up 2. Let's go crazy. And we're going to take this note and move it up 1. And I think I want to add another note here. Let's try, see what we get. So I don't like that one, let's move it up. So, let's listen to my whole piece. We can take this even further if we so choose. I just want to make that longer. We can take this even further and start adding even more notes to it if we want. Maybe I want to double this bottom layer up and I want to drag this on like a bass note. So if you imagine you've got a right hand and a left hand, but I don't know what right hand and left hand means. I just know piano players use 2 hands. So now I'm going to move this down and see what that sounds like. Like that. Let's move this up now. Halfway along the bar, see what happens. Let's go up again. Actually, I'm going to see what it sounds like if I just completely double the bass. Like so. This is a prime example of where theory is going to help. So this one here, after this chord. So I do like that, but there's just a subtle change that I want to happen. If I was to move these up one or down one, I know that I wouldn't like it. At least I think I know. Let's find out. So I don't 100% like this chord. Let's move it up and see what happens. I don't like that either. Let's go down. I don't like that either, so it means that the one in the middle is the one that I like, but I just don't like it that much. So let's move one of them and see what we get. So you see, I'm trying to figure this out here, whereas if I knew more theory, I would be able to just know what this is and identify right away some stuff that I could do next that would sound good. But because at this moment in time, as I'm recreating the past, I don't know the theory to correct this. So I would either just leave it and not like it every time it played, or I would spend a long time trying to figure out how to make this sound like I wanted. So now I kind of like this, but the next one doesn't work. So let's try again. There's no reason why you can't do it. And if anyone tells you that you shouldn't write music unless you know music theory, or you need or have to know music theory to produce this kind of stuff, it's nonsense. It's absolute rubbish. So with this, I'm going to move a little bit further forward and see where we can take this. I'm going to go into some basics of orchestration. I'm going to go into a little bit more advanced basics of orchestration. I'm going to use some inputs from some other lessons I've already got on my channel. And I'm going to try and develop this into something a little bit better and a very, very short piece of orchestral music. So follow me into Dr. J's next episode, and I'll see you there.